Hey guys, it's me again with another video. This week I'm drawing Link from The Legend of Zelda because I just bought my first ever Zelda game the other day and I'm really enjoying it. Like, everyone's like, how did you make it through 22 years of life liking video games and never having played a Zelda game? But when I have the time, I don't have the money, and when I have the money, I don't have the time. So like, despite the fact that I really like video games, I've played like half a video game in the past year. I still have only got halfway through Pokemon Ultra Moon. But Zelda's really addictive and I'm really enjoying it. It's making me actually want to learn 3D again, try and learn 3D, because that's how all the games are made these days. Being a 2D artist isn't enough. But also it'd be really fun to be able to do 3D designs and try and like literal world building. I really love designing places and drawing things. So it's really interesting to see this, like, really, I think the game is like from the 90s, but they just put new shaders and textures on it and stuff. And like, it looks pretty good. So it's really interesting to see that from like a artist's perspective, I guess. So yeah, I'm stuck in the forest temple at the moment. I spent ages and ages in Jabu Jabu dungeon and I hate it, it's gross. And yeah, so I think I'm about halfway through the game. Just got Epona, who is my fave because Epona is such a perfect name for a horse, because it sounds like pony, and that's literally enough to impress me. Yeah, so this week, like, I just wanted to draw something quick, but always when you try and draw something quick, it ends up taking you forever. So I really struggled with the sketch because it's quite a hard pose running kind of towards the camera. So I was struggling with making it look right, and then also I was struggling with his face because Link isn't the kind of character that I draw a lot. Like, he's very small and has a very small face, and I don't usually draw like kids or just small boys or small lads. So yeah, you'll see me struggling with that for ages. But then when I finished that, like, I tried this week to do more kind of ink pen line art. I just used G Pen tool in Clip Studio at 5 point. And I didn't use the vector layer tool this time because I recently did an 8-page comic that I can't publish online yet because it's for a competition, but that was for a manga competition, so I'm really into manga line art lately, and I'm finding that the vector layer tool stabilizes the lines after you've done drawing them in a way that kind of takes away some of the line quality. So I've been experimenting with just the normal layer line tool, and I think you get a bit more control over the like line width, even if it isn't as quick to erase, which is a pain when you just like overshoot and you want to chop things off. So to compensate for that, I've been using the wand tool a lot more, and I've set that to grow the selection automatically by 1 pixel every side, so that I don't get any like jagged like little gaps and stuff, because if you set it to, like, when you're selecting around the outside of the drawing, if you set it to grow 1 pixel into the drawing, and then like for like the shield just on his back, I just kind of drew that after I finished drawing him. And then if you hadn't set it to grow 1 point, there'd be like a teeny tiny white line where the anti-aliasing on the G-Pen, like the kind of blurry edges that make it look a bit more nice and natural, they mess with the wand tool basically. So adding an extra pixel around every selection is a good way to like cheat that a little bit and just keep everything looking like nice and crisp, kind of. So yeah, what I did for this, I did the sketch, did the line art, then I just made a new layer, selected the area around the drawing, inverted that selection, then just filled that in, and then just did flat colours first, and then I went back in with some cell shading on a multiply layer, and then I knocked that back to about 64%, I think it was. But one tip with cell shading, if you're doing multiply, is you should draw the shading while the layer mode is in normal, because then if you accidentally unselect your color, you'll have to turn it back to normal anyway to be able to select the proper color. Unless you use like a color palette or something, which I probably should, but I don't usually. So yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind, and it also helps make it easier to see sometimes. Yeah, so then I did my cell shading, and then I went back into the colors and put some gradients and like used the airbrush to just put some different colors in there, because it was looking really flat. And then I colored in the line art. So I basically made a clipping layer, 2 clipping layers actually over the line art. I did a clipping layer, filled it in brown, then erased around his eyes because I wanted those lines to stay black. And then I made another layer above that for like the greens and the greys. And like I could have just locked the opacity of the line art layer and then used that. Excuse me, sorry for any rustly noises. I could have just locked the opacity of the line art layer, but if you make a clipping layer, you can then like draw around the outside of like his hat and then use the flood fill tool to get any small lines in the hat, like all the fold lines and stuff. And then basically I just put a little bit of texture over the top of it just to make it look a bit more like lively, I guess. So yeah, that's what's happening in the drawing. What's been happening in my life? Quite a lot. I have had my first ever comic book. I just sent it to the printers and it came back like incredibly quickly, so I'm very shook. I'll put a link to my ticktail in the description box, and I'll put a little card at the end screen. I'll put an end screen so you can check out my book, because like I'm really pleased with it, and I'd love it if you had a look at it, because it's my first ever comic book and that I've had printed, and it was incredibly stressful, but luckily I have friends who helped me and family who helped me and people who know more about print formatting to help me. So it was a struggle, but we made it. And yeah, what else has happened? I've got a day job now, just for Christmas, temping at a Christmas shop selling baubles, which I love a good glittery Christmas decoration, so I think I'll be fitting right in, and it will be nice to actually have money for a change, because the problem with freelancing is it's incredibly difficult to get money. In like every like success that you have is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work on this project because I really believe in it, and like, this thing's got loads of views, but like it's hard to translate it to money, and like the only people offering paying jobs tend to offer like dirt wages, so you'd actually like be losing money by working on them. Like I'm talking like $10 for an illustration, and it's like, unless that literally takes me 5 minutes, I'm losing money. So it'll be really nice to have money. Yeah, what else have I been doing? Literally nothing. Playing video games. and everything. Applying for jobs and stressing about printing colours and ordering a heck ton of books. So this drawing will be wrapping up. Like, I hope you like it. I had a lot of trouble with it, so kind of mixed feelings on it, but it's done. And I hope you have a lovely day and see you soon. Bye!